What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Crush City Territory. I'm Chandler Rome, along with Tyler Stafford, as the Astros finished a loud 5-1 homestand against both the Phillies and the Cubs. There were five very close games and one not very close game. The run differential for these six games was 0. That means that the two teams scored the same amount of runs. The Astros finished 5-1, just another testament to their run prevention ability. Maybe another indictment on a lineup that sorely needs Jordan Alvarez back, one that was missing Jeremy Pena for the final two games of the Cubs series, but still managed to beat one of the best teams in the National League 2 out of 3. Tyler, before we get into the on-field stuff and the baseball that was played, let's give some well-deserved credit here. I thought the Astros did a phenomenal job with welcoming back Kyle Tucker and Ryan Presley.
Well, I thought you just meant in general, and I was like, "Thank you, I agree." Finally, you're not whining about the team you No, yes, I agree. They did great welcoming back. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought it hit all the right notes. I thought that tribute video that they did before the first game was as well done of anything as their creative team, their marketing team has done since I've covered them. I thought it was very poignant. The way they connected both guys, two guys that got to the organization very differently. Like Ryan Presley was acquired at the trade deadline in 2018, and then Kyle Tucker was drafted and developed in a homegrown guy. But to tie them together as well as they did with that, obviously the play that they'll remain synonymous with the Astros forever is the final out of the 2022 World Series. Kyle Tucker catching it, Ryan Presley inducing it on the mound. And then, they played Kyle Tucker's walk-up music before his first at bat. Never heard it again after that. And then I thought it was really cool that Ryan Presley ran out to God's Gonna Cut You Down on Saturday. And there were some Astros fans that were kind of peeved by that were in my mentions. I think they were just mad that the Astros got boat raced and they lost the game, and they were just looking for something to be mad at. I thought it was a great touch. I thought it was the perfect situation to do it too. Like, if he would have come in a one-run game and that would have been his first appearance, I feel like it would have been a little weird to play his walk-up music, but Astros were down 12-3. It was the perfect time to do it. I thought from beginning to end, they handled everything about this weekend as well as it could be handled.
Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts. One, the video that you're talking about that they played on the screen, you're right, was great. I really liked the editing, like you said, where the first minute and a half was Presley, and then just shot and editing wise was super cool, where it was that last out of the 2022 World Series. It starts kind of focused on Presley, and then the camera is at Presley and then focuses on Tucker catching it over his shoulder, and then the video shifts into the Tucker story. That ruled. That when they were editing that together, they must have been so excited to find that exact shot to be able to do that, because that was really cool. Second thought is, I agree. It's cool that they played Brian Presley's music. Not close to the most offensive thing that the Astros have ever played for a visiting team. When they first moved to the AL, so was that 2012, I guess? Is that the first year in the AL?
It was.
When the Reds, it might not even, maybe they hadn't even been in the AL yet. It doesn't matter. The point is the Red Sox were in town, and they played Sweet Caroline in the 7th inning. And yes, and it was like, what are we doing? This is embarrassing. So yeah, you can play Ryan Presley's music when you're down 9 and he's jogging in and he's a World Series hero for your team. At least it wasn't Sweet Caroline. That was significantly worse.
They did not play Go Cubs Go after the Cubs win on Saturday, which step up. Good job for them. That ballpark, though, the Cubs travel. In case you didn't know, the Cubs fan base, they showed out this weekend at Dyken Park. There were a ton of Cubs people there.
Well, they all live in the Woodlands. Them and the Red Sox fans. That's up there. So
is that the Woodlands?
That's just been the shout out Astros County. That was his joke for a long time. Was anytime Red Sox or Yankees or Cubs fans showed up, it was, well, they all live in the Woodlands. I guess that was his version of fake Houston. No disrespect to the Woodlands, but that was a long running joke of his, and I am just shamelessly stealing it.
And everyone that was involved in all of the moves did something in this series. They all had their moments. Isak Paredes homered. Cam Smith, as we will talk about more in depth, we'll get there. Don't worry. Cam Smith had a really nice first 2 games of the Cubs series. Finally showed some emotion. Like, I guess we can just start talking about it now. I loved watching Cam Smith pimp those 2 home runs because, like, it seems like we have been waiting for, like, he's got personality and he's got so much athleticism and so much energy and he's got such a youthful vibe about him. And it's kind of been reined in a little bit. Part of it is because he hadn't hit a ton of home runs. Part of it is, he's had the one walk-off where he went crazy, but he really hadn't come up in some huge clutch situations. And when he did, it was really fun to see him, just for lack of a better word, be a kid. Like, you could tell it meant, you can tell it, he would never say it, but like, you could tell it meant something to him to homer against the Cubs, to be such an integral part of this. And Tyler, I thought it was fitting that he hit cleanup all 3 games against the Cubs. Like, to have, I don't think there is anyone that could have fathomed Cam Smith when the Cubs came. If you would have told anyone before the season started, Cam Smith's going to be hitting cleanup when the Cubs come to town in June, no one would have believed you. And when I say no one, I mean like even people in the Astros organization.
Oh yeah, I mean, but how great was that? I mean, he hit one to the train tracks. I mean, you're right. He's just coming into his own. He just looks comfortable at the plate. He clearly has just big league power, and we still haven't even seen it, on a consistent basis. But I mean, man, he is good. Like, he is very, very good. This is not a fair comparison, but he has reminded me a lot lately of Carlos Correa's rookie year, where if you go back and look at Correa in his rookie year, he's really skinny. He clearly has like raw power that he can get into. I mean, he hit 22 home runs as a 20-year-old as a rookie. Like, again, it's not fair to compare someone to a number 1 overall pick who immediately came up and was a franchise cornerstone. But Cam Smith reminds me a lot of Carlos Correa in that rookie year, where like you can tell there's so much more to still tap into. Like, he's performing at this level, and you can tell he's still not even close to what he's going to grow into as he fills out and adds muscle and, really understands how big league pitchers are going to attack him. But yeah, he's hitting cleanup for a team with the second best record in the American League before the All-Star break a year after being drafted. Pretty good time to be the conductor of the Cam Smith hype train. I can tell you that much.
Please don't conduct while intoxicated. Please don't conduct while high on Cam Smith vibes. Please make sure you celebrate thusly away from the train, because we don't want the train veering off the tracks.
It's on a track. I mean, how hard could it be, right? It just follows the tracks.
Maybe. I don't know. It depends on the conductor. It depends on how you're able to navigate it. You were looking it up before we started. I think this weekend put Cam Smith firmly in the conversation for American League Rookie of the Year. I think he's still got a ways to go. Jacob Wilson, the A's shortstop, is, as of this moment, running away with it. He's hitting about 350. He may start the All-Star game at shortstop for the American League. He leads all rookies in WAR, according to Fangraphs. Carlos Narvaez, the Red Sox catcher, leads all rookies in WAR according to Baseball Reference, so whichever one you prefer. But Cam Smith is right up in the top 2 or 3 in both of those measurements. I'm going to address it on here and talk about it because it was asked on Twitter a lot this weekend, and I had to clarify it for some people. Remember when we were talking about the PPI eligibility in spring training and you laughed at me? as if like, oh, like they're not going to do this because of PPI. Like this is so stupid. Well, turns out they have a real legitimate chance here of Cam Smith is PPI eligible, as is Hunter Brown, as we have
What's
talked
PPI again? Give
about.
a quick refresher.
Prospect promotion incentive or initiative, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
It basically incentivizes teams to not manipulate service time for prospects and bring them up and carry them on the opening day roster. It played a part in Cam Smith making the opening day roster. I can say that for a fact. There was some confusion on MLB's website. There's some vague language that suggests teams can only get one PPI pick per season. That is not accurate. If both Hunter Brown and Cam Smith finish in the requisite places they need to finish in the awards voting, the Astros will get 2 picks in next year's draft because of their accomplishments. Now, what do they have to do to get there? Hunter Brown has to finish in the top 3 of either Cy Young or MVP voting. I would bet that he's going to be a big factor in finishing in top 3 in the American League Cy Young voting. Cam Smith, however, he has to either win American League Rookie of the Year or finish in the top 3 of AL MVP voting. So it's not a top 3 in Rookie of the Year for Cam Smith. He's got to win it to get the Astros a draft pick. He's firmly now in the conversation. It is now fully a reality, but he's still got a little ways to go to make up some ground, Tyler.
Look, as the biggest Cam Smith defender on here, I would have said he should have been Rookie of the Year anyway. Obviously, Jacob Wilson has been incredible. I mean, just to give everyone a quick rundown, also comes with like huge pedigree, right? Like he was a first round pick. He came up a little bit last year, so he had a little bit of time to kind of get people to know him.
His dad played in the big leagues.
His dad played in the big leagues, so he's a Nepo baby, so that counts against him. But I mean, he's hitting 340 right now, which is pretty good. I will give him that. That'll get it done. However, if we're looking at WAR, and we're gonna only pick the ones that help me, so we're gonna ignore Fangraphs, where where Jacob Wilson has significantly higher WAR than Cam Smith. We're gonna ignore that. I've never liked Fangraphs anyway. I only use Baseball Reference today whenever I've decided that's when it helps me. But if you look at their WAR there, Cam Smith is at 2.3. Jacob Wilson is at 2. Cam Smith has played 10 fewer games. So, he still has some time to just make up on the counting stats. I would argue that if you get to the end of the year and both of those guys are, within a rounding error of each other at WAR. Now, again, the writers are smarter now. It's not just this guy's hitting 300. This guy, this isn't the Mike Trout, Miguel Cabrera debate of 2011 or 2012, whenever that was. Writers are smart, but if they're both
I'm gonna clip that real quick. Right?
Yeah. Well, other writers, I meant. If they're both at like 5.5 WAR, but Jacob Wilson is still hitting 340, like I get that it's going to go to him. My biggest argument, and it's the same that I think goes to my argument for like MVP as well, and that's, look, if it's a coin toss between those two players, the A's are already 16 games behind the Astros. Now, I'm aware that it is an individual award. You look at the players. Obviously, it is not Jacob Wilson's fault that Luis Severino wants out of Sacramento because he didn't know it was a minor league ballpark after taking a tour and seeing it and then signing there. But if you get to the end of the year and the A's are 30 games behind the Astros and they have the exact same, overall numbers, and Cam Smith is hitting 4th like he's doing right now, like it would be hard to argue, I think, that it shouldn't be Cam Smith, or at least you could justify that. Now, again, you got a long ways to go. Jacob Wilson has been incredible this year, but Cam Smith is turning on, man. Like he has been really, really good. And it's a closer race than I think people think.
There were so many things to like about what Cam Smith did this weekend, but the one thing that stood out to me, I don't have the exact number, but it seemed like he was down 0-2 every at bat. Like he went up there and got down 0-2 very quickly, whether it was just he chased a little bit or just guys were starting him off first pitch breaking ball in the zone. He got down 0-2 a lot. He got down 0-2 against Cade Horton in the first game. Battles back, gets it to a full count, gets to a 10th pitch and hits a hanging slider onto the train tracks. He got down 0-2 a couple other times. And just the presence and the ability to battle and spoil pitches and still have a discerning eye when you get down 0-2. Because when you get in a 2-strike count, you can see young hitters that get pretty jumpy. You can see young hitters that expand, that get or that get tentative, or that don't want to swing, don't want to chase in an 0-2 or 2-strike count. Like Cam Smith's patience and wherewithal to battle in those situations is beyond his years. And I think that was very interesting and very intriguing and encouraging for the Astros, because you saw it in spring. That was one thing we kept saying in spring training, right? Like the pitch recognition was incredible. Like he would see things out of hand. He wouldn't even flinch. And it's regressed a little bit in the big league because the pitching is better. Like he's not facing double and triple A guys like he was in spring training. He's facing better pitching, so inherently there's going to be some regression in pitch recognition and laying off and not chasing, things like that. But he commands an at-bat. So there are so few at-bats that you watch and you just, man, he gave that at-bat away. Or that was a bad at-bat in that situation. Look, he's got a couple. He struck out on 3 pitches today with a runner on base, and that's going to happen. Like he's 22 years old hitting cleanup on a championship contending team. Like they're going to expect some peaks and valleys, but to see him get behind in so many counts like he did this weekend and then battle back and either put together great at-bats, make the pitcher work and throw him everything he's got. And then sometimes he comes back and hits a homer. Sometimes he works a walk. Sometimes it's a single up the middle. Just a truly a weekend that if it does play out that Cam Smith wins Rookie of the Year or that he gets awards at the end of the year, we will look back at this weekend, at this series, probably because, again, the Cubs were here and it's an easy narrative to write. But we will look back at this weekend as the one where Cam Smith really turned the corner.
Can I give you one more arbitrary stat before we go to break?
Sure.
So, as we discussed, Jacob Wilson cheated by getting 28 games in the big leagues last year. That's an unfair head start. I think we all can agree on that. So if we discount Cam Smith's first 28 games of the year, if we go from game 28 on, just for reference, Jacob Wilson's OPS this season is 856. 856 for Jacob Wilson. If you take games 28 on for Cam Smith, so you gave him the 28 games that Jacob Wilson got to get under there, his OPS is 868. So 10 points higher with the same head start there. That's completely arbitrary and made up, but I will use it to my advantage in order to help Cam Smith out. So there you go. He's just as good. That's a fact.
I had no doubt that you would find any arbitrary way to say that Smith is the American League. You think if he wins Rookie of the Year, you think as part of his tour afterwards, you really could get him to go to the zoo with you?
I do. Every single time he does something, someone tweets at me something about the zoo, and I just so you know, I love it. I love the zoo, and it makes me happy. And so yes, I do. It's gonna happen. Plus in the off season, in the winter, that's the time to go to the Houston Zoo. The bears are actually moving around because it's not so hot outside. That's the time to go. Maybe we could go to the zoo lights at Christmas. Something to think about. We got a lot of options here, but I certainly think it's a possibility.
We will discuss which animals Cam and Tyler are going to see first on their zoo tour right after this message from our friends at Foul Territory.
Kratz, real talk. I do not carry cash around me, but what I do carry around on my phone is Cash App.
Easy peasy. Like I said before, anytime Scott can pay for the tab, that is good. And it's always right there. Fast, easy, always available.
Yeah. Oh, my credit card's not working, or oh, I didn't bring
Nope.
cash with me. There's no more alligator arms. Do you have your phone? Most people have their phone. So use Cash App. It's secure and safe. There's no waiting around. It is a super, super easy sign up process. You can sign up quicker than you can listen to Kratz and I talk about Cash App. For a limited time only for the FT fam, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, no catch. Just download Cash App and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code territory in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App.
So it'll be Penguins first, and then maybe the Seals.
Well, the seal. Look, this is embarrassing for you. We got to get you to the zoo first off. Penguins and seals are in the same place.
Okay.
If you'd pay attention.
They've
built a new area. It's wonderful. But yeah, then we go see the Bears if it's off season. Like I said, they'll be moving around. There's the tiger back there, the lions. Maybe you get to hear one roar. That'd be great. But I mean, look, we'll figure it out, and it'll be worth it for sure. There's also a train right outside, and we will have to ride a train, obviously. That goes without saying.
It's pretty funny that you're going to bring a former Cub to see the Bears first. Love that. Love that. I guess we have to talk about what happened on Saturday because a lot of people got very mad online. A lot of people,
Love Island.
A lot of people were yelling. Do you watch that? I don't watch Love Island.
I watch it in the sense that I am married and it is on often. And so I'm aware of what's going on. And because I've sent Alicia so many tweets that pop up, now my algorithm is 30% Love Island. So I'm aware of what's going on, certainly.
You probably are. We're not going to talk about Love Island.
No, it's okay. We can talk about the other important thing that happened.
Oh, yeah. Lance McCullers did not pitch well. Did not pitch well on Saturday against the Chicago Cubs. A lot of people got very mad at Joe Espada for leaving him in, at various other things. Look, he was pitching very well before he sprained his foot. Was on the IL for 17 days, did not pitch, came back. It didn't go well. We're not going to try to beat around the bush or try to find some silver lining here. He allowed 8 runs in 3+ innings, gave the team no chance to win. He's got a 6.61 ERA now after this season. He also has a new daddy, apparently. He said after the game that the NL Central is his daddy at the moment because of his poor performance against the Reds and then his poor performance on Saturday against the Cubs. And look, Lance has there's merit there. He has a 2.79 ERA in the 29 innings outside of those 2 starts. So you can look at it a couple of ways. You can look at it as you're going to never know what you're going to get from Lance. You're going to go into every start kind of holding your breath. Or you can look at it as he's had 2 really bad starts, which he has, and he's had the rest of his work has been better than average. It's been more than the Astros could have expected. Where do you fall on that, Tyler?
I mean, even at his best, we've talked about this. You're due for one every 6 or 7 games where McCullers just kind of forgets where the strike zone is. I mean, in the first inning he had 12 straight balls, which is not ideal. That's not what you want to do. I mean, it got to the point where it didn't even look competitive. It wasn't close. It wasn't like he was just barely missing and people weren't chasing. Balls were just going who knows where. And again, some of that is just he hadn't pitched in 15 days and, was knocking off some rust. So on the one hand, you can look to that and say, he just, that's the type of pitcher he is that he's a field-based pitcher. There are days where he just doesn't have it, which if we can whisper real quick, that's why he profiles better as a reliever, because on the days that he doesn't have it, it doesn't hurt him as bad.
Please don't.
But I didn't say that. I whispered it.
Okay.
But I did turn my mic up per people's suggestions, so maybe people heard that. I have more concerning stats for you. Lance McCullers is at the bottom of Major League Baseball in hard hit percentage. He is giving up 51.6% hard hits, hard hit percentage from Baseball Savant. That's really, really bad. And to go with that, he is also at the bottom of the league in chase percentage. So no one is swinging at the stuff out of the zone, which is what McCullers needs. He needs people to look silly on sliders and curves in the dirt. They're just not doing that. And when they're swinging, they are tattooing him. I mean, his walk rate is up. I mean, his walk rate's always really high. It's not like substantially higher than normal. I mean, it's high relative to big league pitchers, but not necessarily to Lance. But the concern is like he is just getting tattooed just constantly. And people are just barreling every ball. They're hitting it hard. They're just not chasing anything. That is a big concern because a pitcher with the movement that Lance has, again, at his best, he was, when he first came up, he was all fly ball, right? But then it turned into, he was a really good ground ball pitcher. He threw that sinker and people would just roll over on the curveball. He is just not getting any of that. And so like I said, you can write off one start, and I'm willing to do that. Coming back from an injury, you have some rust, but we're 8 starts in now, and the underlying numbers are really, really concerning when you just look at what are hitters doing to him in the box. They're just hitting everything. They're not chasing. They're not whiffing nearly as much as they did, previously. It's really concerning.
It should be noted he still does have about a 47% ground ball rate, which if he's going to give up hard hit ground balls can go to the best defensive infield in the American League, and that helps. So the fact that he is still getting an above average ground ball rate is encouraging, if you want to call it that. He is still generating an above average whiff rate too. He's missing enough bats when he is competitive. When the problem on Saturday was like none of the spin was competitive. Like he had no feel for the slider. You could tell that very early. And the slider has been one of his predominant pitches, and he had to be really change up reliant. And he became very predictable. It looked like the Cubs were sitting soft. It looked like they were sitting on spin because, again, like he's not throwing the sinker a bunch. And when he does throw the sinker, it doesn't have the giddy up that it used to. And again, no one expected Lance to come back and be throwing 95 after 900 days away. But he is a work in progress, as we have said throughout this whole saga he would be. They're not going to do anything drastic after one bad start. It's not going to get any easier because the next start is at Dodger Stadium. And that's a very good lineup too, just like the Cubs are. The Cubs are an excellent lineup. The Astros, I mean, they are a very good lineup. And they saw Lance one time through and made some adjustments, and you could tell he had become a little bit predictable that second time through. But there are no conversations right now of taking him out of the rotation. Like he is going to stay in the rotation. He is going to start for the foreseeable future. Everyone's next follow-up is, what happens when Arrighetti gets back and Javier and Garcia and all these guys? Like my blanket answer is I'll tell you when they're back. Like I need them to get back first before we can start having this conversation. And you have no idea what the complexion of this pitching staff is going to look like in a month and a half when those guys could possibly be ready to come back. You hope not, but you could be dealing with more injuries. You could be dealing with guys pitching worse than Lance. Lance can find it and pitch better. And again, it's not as if he was, pitching awfully before going on the IL with the sprained foot. I mean, he had a 3.20 ERA in 5 starts before spraining his foot. Like he was pitching fine. Was there some luck involved? Was he facing some bad lineups? Yes and yes. But he's got a good defense behind him. If he can keep the ball on the ground and if he can be competitive enough with his spin to miss bats, he is a viable, serviceable member of this rotation. But it did not look like that on Saturday. A lot of people got very mad. A lot of people got angry. Saturday was the game to really showcase the Tucker trade. Tucker homered, Paredes homered, Smith homered, Presley pitched. It was on Fox. It was on national TV. They had all the storylines just kind of wrapped up for them. It was a great one.
They played Cruel Summer for us, which was great. I don't know if you were listening. I did tweet it at you just so you knew. I pay attention for you, but we had that going for us. Look, last thing I'll say on Lance, he has to rely on being able to get people to chase out of the zone, and the reason people aren't doing that is he has no idea where his fastball is going. He has to be able to control his sinker and his four seam and even his cutter when he uses it at the bottom of the zone, so that when he throws his off-speed stuff and his breaking stuff, it looks like a strike until it isn't. But right now, his sinker is just down the middle, and so anything that starts at the knees or below, people are just not swinging at all. Again, for reference, the out-of-zone swing percentage for Major League Baseball is 28%. Lance is at 19. So, I mean, he's way, way below just average pitchers in getting people to swing outside of the strike zone. And that's because there's nothing that is, you can just say, like, that's fine. I'll take a strike at the knees because I don't think you can do it 3 times in a row. So anything that's starting down, people are just laying off. And it's forcing him, as I've seen some, it's forcing him to bring his slider up in the zone more just to try to get swings on it. And people are just, like I said, just barreling it. So you hope that he can work that out mechanically and figure that out. But yes, it was a tough one. But we'll move on. We'll see him again in a couple days, and we'll reassess. There's some lefties in the Dodgers lineup, and I think true Lance McCullers is against lefties when he gets to use the knuckle curve. That's good Lance. So the more lefties are in there, the better.
Lance has good memories in that stadium too.
Mm-hmm.
So
he got an RBI once.
He did. He'll remind you too that he got an RBI in Dodger Stadium in a pretty consequential game.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about Lance, and this dovetails to a lot of different issues is a strong word, but things going on with the team, like because they have put themselves in a position where they are 6.5 games up in the West, and like they're in a pretty comfortable spot with like they don't have to have all this urgency, like, oh, we've got to replace like Lance is on borrowed time because like we have to win these games. Like, yes, they would love to win every time they go out there. But remember last year when Jose Abreu got optioned to West Palm Beach and then got DFA'd like a month later? Like that was because that team was desperate and they needed to win every game they went out and played. Christian Walker remains in the everyday lineup and getting everyday at bats, albeit further down the batting order, but he remains in the lineup because they can. Like they have given themselves that luxury of being able to do this because they've put themselves in a good position in the driver's seat in this division. Same thing with Yainer Diaz. It's going to be the same thing with Lance McCullers. Like they have an advantageous position that they're in to have runway for guys that are struggling to find it. And Lance will get that. Christian Walker will get that. That doesn't mean they're not going to go at the deadline and try to address some of these areas where the struggles are more pronounced than others. But for now, I don't envision a ton of, barring injury, I don't envision a ton of like overhaul of the rotation or the lineup or playing time because they keep winning. Like they keep winning and the division lead keeps growing. And there is just not that sense of we've got to win every night. So we've got to put our hands all over the roster and do this. Like there's a reason that they're taking it slow with Alvarez, that they're taking it slow with all these injured guys because they're not in a desperate need for that. So we'll talk about what the Astros did in June right after another message from our friends at Foul Territory.
People liked this last time, so we're going to do it again. read one of the fantastic, unique, creative dishes on HelloFresh. Creamy Alfredo truffle cavatappi pasta?
Cavatappi, maybe? But I'll just go with the Indian-inspired chicken paired with turmeric rice. That sounds awesome. Everything about this is delicious, fresh, comes in a little bag, and I like to cook, so I like to chop up the ingredients. I like to throw stuff in the pan, mix it up. It makes me feel like I'm doing something, Scott, and they always come out amazing.
Yes, you can be a star at home with America's #1 meal kit. Make your summer enjoyable and delicious by signing up for HelloFresh at HelloFresh.com/FT10FM and get 10 free meals with a free item for life. That's HelloFresh.com/FT10FM for 10 free meals and a free item in every box. 1 per box with an active subscription. Free meals are applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan.
So Tyler, I don't think the Astros could have asked for a better June. Maybe they could have gone undefeated, but that was probably unrealistic. As it stands, they went 19-7, and they finished it off with, as we talked about, they beat 2 of the best teams in the National League, and a National League that is far superior to the American League in every conceivable way. They beat 2 of the best teams in the National League on their home field. What stood out the most to you about what they did this month? Is there a player? Is there a way that they won? Is there just what stood out to you the most about what they did this month?
It's the consistency, man. They've won 11 straight series.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just every day you go in thinking, well, they got a good shot of winning, and if they don't win this one, they're pretty sure you're going to win tomorrow. I mean, they've won 11 straight series. I mean, the thing that stood out to me the most is maybe an underrated one, but it's the guys outside of Fromber and Hunter Brown, like your carousel of other starters who are coming through. They're not going to blow you away, but they put you in a position every game that they go out there to win the game. And that's all you can ask for guys who are filling in roles that, the team was not expecting them to have to do coming into the season. So the fact that they can go 19-7 in a month where, most of their rotation is on the IL, they're missing Jordan, it's remarkable. They have been consistent. I mean, I don't know what's left to be said about Josh Hader. That guy is just nails. Easiest hot take of the year was prior to the season, me just putting my foot down and saying Josh Hader is good. That was a hot take that I had to have for people. Looking pretty good on that one. He's a good pitcher. But I mean, they just, like I said, they're just a machine right now. They're just rolling over other teams right now, and it is fun to watch. They should continue to do this, in my opinion. I think if they want to have a good season, they should just do what they did in June the rest of the year.
This is why we pay you the big bucks for that. That sort of insight.
Thank you.
To go to your first point, Colton Gordon made 4 starts in June and had a 2.14 ERA. That'll play. Brandon Walter made 4 starts in June. He allowed 11 runs in those 4 starts. 7 of them came in 1 start. So the other 3, he was very, very good, including on Friday against the Cubs, going 6 innings of 1-run ball. Again, it is a testament to their pitching infrastructure. It's a testament to their major league pro scouting side, which they don't have a traditional pro scouting setup, but they do a lot of video scouting. They do a lot of waiver wire combing, and they're finding these it's guys like Brandon Walter, it's guys like Steven Okert, it's guys like, you look in the bowl, Brian King. Like, they find these gems, these things that they think they can make small pitch adjustments to, sequencing adjustments to, and it saved them because so much of their rotation is on the injured list. Lance, as we talked about, is going to have his ups and downs. And then, I mean, look, it's funny. I was thinking about kind of, everyone keeps asking me how they're doing this. How are they doing this? How are they doing this? Because everyone just thought in the offseason, you trade Kyle Tucker, you let Alex Bregman sign elsewhere, it's just going to be a step back. Like, Yes, there's some like voodoo magic going on here. There is some there a ton of it should be attributed to culture. Like, and I know it's really hard to quantify it. I've been trying for like 8 years to be able to really articulate kind of what the culture is in there. And we asked Josh in the last episode. That helps. It helps that they come to the ballpark every day, no matter who is in their clubhouse, no matter who's putting the uniform. They all come with an expectation to win. Like that doesn't happen everywhere. And Josh talked about it last episode. Culture is a big thing, but also like they have two of the best starting pitchers in the sport in their rotation. They have the best closer in the sport in the back end of the bullpen. They have the best setup man in baseball in Brian Abreu. They have Jeremy Pena, who is a legitimate top 3 MVP candidate. And they have Cam Smith, who we just talked about is a legitimate American League Rookie of the Year candidate. It's not as if this is a bunch of pluck and grit and they're just underdog guys going like, no, this is like they've got really, really talented players that are just on their really good players are playing at such an elite level and are producing at such an elite level that it can almost compensate for the lack of depth around them. And it becomes even more crazy when you look at, Jose Altuve has not had the first half that you look at in his career that would be commensurate with his standing. Yainer Diaz, the same thing. Christian Walker has been an absolute wasteland for 2.5 months. Christian Walker hit 4th. Yainer Diaz hit 5th, and Jose Altuve led off in your opening day lineup. Those 3 guys have combined for negative WAR in the first half, and you are still 50 and 34 because you've got the other elite players on your team are performing at an elite level and maybe at a super elite level to where it is. So to where it's maybe negating that out a little bit. So to ascribe all of this to just, it's Astros inevitability. It's the voodoo black magic. No, like they have really good players. They still have really good players that are playing at an elite level right now.
Yeah, it's easy to win 70% of your games when 40% of them are started by 2 of the best pitchers in baseball. Like you're gonna end up winning a lot of games when you've got Hunter Brown and Framber Valdez who are just elite. There's no other way to say it. I mean, they are incredible. Framber had those kind of 2 blow up starts at the beginning of the year. He gave up 5 runs in his second start of the year. Then he had that 7-run, 4-inning game. Since then, in those 12 games, the Astros are 9-3. He has a 2.33 ERA. He's been unbelievable. Exactly what you would expect. Hunter Brown is just mowing people down left and right. So yes, that's why you're winning a lot of games. And you're right, the elite level guys are carrying the team. You can count on a Jeremy Pena clutch hit just about every game. Jake Myers is still hitting above 300. You've got guys that are playing really well. But what could help them play even better is having some guys back. And so I want you to talk about Pena a little bit and give us an update there. But I saw that there was a large man taking batting practice today. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Don't besmirch Isaac Paredes like that. He's not large. He's just a bowling.
I'm on the record that I think he has the ideal male sport physique. You want a little gut in there. I think that's good for a hitter, especially at third base. Like that's what you want. So don't try to throw me under the bus. I've been on record about that. But tell me about the other big man.
Yeah, Yordan Alvarez hit on the field before Sunday's game. To my untrained eye, it looked good. It sounded good. It sounded good off of his bat. There were line drives being peppered to both gaps. He smiled and thumbs up and said it felt good. So he got on a plane during the game on Sunday. He flew to West Palm Beach, where he is going to stay for the next few days and take live batting practice off of some of the Astros rehabbing pitchers like JP France and Luis Garcia, Christian Javier. So he's going to see He's going to see live pitching at a major league caliber arm. So they need to see how that goes first. They tried to do this before. We don't need to take you back that he's faced live pitching before in this buildup, and then they discovered his hand was broken. Who knew?
Mm-hmm.
So
have they done additional imaging? Have we looked at it again? Is it above 60% healed now? Do we have a new percentage?
I'm kicking myself for not asking that today. But I also know if I would have asked that today, I would have risked physical harm. So I presume that they are doing various imaging on him and he is okay. But presuming anything with this is a dangerous thing. So maybe I shouldn't presume. But so he's going to stay in West Palm for at least the next 3 or 4 days doing that. Dana Brown went on the Astros pregame radio show today. He said there's a possibility Yordan Alvarez could join the Astros in Los Angeles this weekend for the Dodgers series. He said that is not, his exact quote was, that is not a likely scenario, but it's one that we're not going to take off of the table. I'm going to go back to what I said in the last segment. You're 6.5 games up in the division. You're about to go play the worst team, what is going to be the worst team in modern Major League history in the Rockies. So I can only imagine that lead at worst is going to stay at 6.5 this series. And then you go to the dot. Like, there is no need to rush him back. There is no need to, if there is any doubt, if there's like, hey, if he even says like, hey, I think I'd feel better if I went to AAA for a couple, just send him to AAA. Just send him to Sugar Land. They could use the ticket sales. Like the guys playing on the team could use a nice spread that Yordan's going to buy for them. Like, send him to the minor leagues. Let him take a few at bats there, get back to game speed. This dude has not played in a major league game since May 2nd. Like, you can do all the live BPs you want. You can do all like the hitting off the machines you want. It's different when you're in an actual game setting. So if I were them, what I would do is I would get him some at bats in a rehab game. My informed opinion is that is what's going to happen, is that he's going to take some live BPs this next few days. Maybe by this weekend, he can go out to a minor league affiliate. And look, he doesn't need 5 or 6 minor league rehab. He probably only needs 1 or 2. And then getting him back for that 6-game homestand right before the All-Star break would seem pretty logical. I don't know if they'll get him back on Monday when they open the series against the Guardians. Maybe it's a little bit later in the week, but it would, to me, that would be the most prudent route, because they need him back. Don't get me wrong, but they are not desperate to have him back right now because of the results. Like, they're not in, we need to win every game mode to climb out of the cellar and not sell at the deadline. They're in right now kind of maintenance mode. Like, just keep your foot on the pedal, keep it on cruise control. Don't veer off the road, but that's how I would handle it if I were them. I don't know if that's how they're going to. They want to keep this pretty tight-lipped. Jeremy Pena, on the other hand, should probably play on Tuesday in Colorado. He got hit in the ribs it was kind of funny. Everyone was I don't know, man, people online are crazy. There were some people that were upset today that he was given 2 days off because he got hit by a breaking ball and not a fastball. I don't want to get hit by anything in my ribs thrown by a major league pitcher. I don't care if it's spinning, straight, change up. I don't care. I don't want to get hit with any, like, I challenge you to get hit with anything that a major league pitcher is throwing and see if you can just bounce back in a couple hours. But I think they wanted to be prudent. Again, he came in today. He was never going to play Saturday after it happened. He came back in Sunday and, they said he took a couple swings and was pretty sore. So they said, you know what? They have an off day on Monday, open the series on Tuesday. I'd imagine he's playing on Tuesday. But again, even if he's not that big of a deal at this point, you can be prudent and you can be reasonable when you have this lead in the division.
It's also far away. Like, he's going to Florida, and then to fly him all the way to Los Angeles for his first game back without any big league pitching, like, that is something. While you were talking, you mentioned, the homestand right before the All-Star break. So I pulled up the Astros schedule, and I would like you to do me the honor of sharing your screen and clicking on the link that I sent you for the Astros promotion for the second game, Tuesday, July 8th, which is Friends Night. the NBC show, and I'd like you to just take a look at the bobblehead that they are giving away.
Oh wow, that's a good one. But they're not giving it away. They're not.
Oh, it's $50. Okay,
It's an add-on
excuse me.
bobblehead package for $53.
That is haunting. For those of you listening, it is Orbit with just a raw turkey with sunglasses for a head that I assume bobbles. It is terrifying. But yes, you can hopefully see Jordan and pick you up this Orbit turkey bobblehead.
If anyone in the Astros like finance office or creative department is watching this, and you can track how many bobblehead add-on packages you get after 9:34 p.m. on June 29th, you should do that, and we should get commission.
Yeah, give us one. I want it up on your shelf back there. Yeah, we need that one. Are you a Friends guy?
No, I'm a Seinfeld guy.
Is there a rivalry you can't be?
I feel like you have to be one or the other. I feel like
Okay.
they're kind of the same show. Seinfeld's obviously better, but I kind of feel like you have to be one or the other, and I've been a Seinfeld guy for a very long time.
I missed both as a child. They were a little bit before me, but I have since watched them all. We watched all of Friends after having Olivia, our first kid. We probably watched the entirety of Friends in like the 2 or 3 weeks after having Olivia, because it was also COVID at the time. So there was literally nothing else to do. So I saw all of Friends. I couldn't tell you what any episode is because they all just kind of ran together, but it was good. But yes, I felt like you needed to see that bobblehead. Someone needs to get us one so we can have it for the show.
I feel like the irony is going to be lost on everyone that the guy named Chandler is not a Friends fan, but it is what it is. I could have been named Kramer, I guess, and it could have been a whole lot easier.
You definitely have Kramer energy for sure. Yeah.
Interesting. Kramer's zany and weird.
Yeah, no, you're not remotely, not close to Kramer.
You looking forward to Coors Field? Watching maybe the worst major league team ever assembled play the Astros for 3 games.
I wish that Jordan were healthy to come back to hit at Coors. That would be fun. But yeah, that is a rough team out there. Now, of course, the Astros are going to lose 2 of 3. Now that we have mentioned that, who's starting for the Astros over these games?
They will go Colton Gordon, Hunter Brown, and Brandon Walter.
Okay, that's
Hunter
good.
Hunter Brown pitching against that team at Coors Field should be like hide the children. That should be pretty nasty. The Rockies do nothing well. They are as incompetent as any team I have ever seen. I saw the White Sox last year. This team is worse. I'll say this. I asked someone in the sport that is affiliated with another team. This team had just played the Rockies. This team also played the White Sox frequently last year. I texted this person and I asked, who's worse? He said the Rockies have more talent and are worse. So that should tell you what you're about to watch for 3 games at Coors Field.
Would you like to guess anyone with just a positive WAR on their team? Can you name someone who has had an above average season for them?
Ryan McMahon?
Yeah, he's at 1.4. He is leading their position players. Some man named Jake Bird, who is their setup guy, I guess.
I think he's going to be their all-star.
Yeah, which he's not the closer. He is the setup man. But yes, he is the team leader in WAR at 1.7. Not good.
How many of their qualified hitters have an OPS plus over 100?
3, barely. Mickey Moniak is at 102, but Hunter Goodman, who is their catcher, is at a 124, respectable. Someone named Jordan Beck is at 112, but then there's a guy. He must not even be play. It's rough. It's not good. Jacob Stallings, if you remember him, has a 9 OPS plus. So that's not good. Yeah, a lot of fun. We're gonna be you're gonna be there, I presume.
Oh yeah, I would not miss a trip to Coors Field.
I
It's
mean,
a
Denver's
beautiful,
awesome.
It's a beautiful ballpark.
They got that cool purple row.
Yep.
You know,
this I don't know if it's sad or funny, but like
they still have 20,000 people. Yeah, it rules.
Game. The fans love it. I don't know
Dude.
why. Maybe because it's so scenic and beautiful, but like, why would you ever go to that on your own free will?
I will say one time I went to a game there and I bought tickets, I don't know, 15 rows back from home plate for like $60. The way that the lower bowl is configured, they have a good number of seats right behind home plate. Unlike, the Astros, you literally can't sit behind there unless you are the CEO of a company somewhere. But it's a great
or sell furniture.
That's true. The Mattress Mac curse. That's why they lost the one game. That's it.
If you need a mattress, I cannot recommend more Texas mattress makers in Houston.
They're on the radio. Do you hear those ads?
I do. I could not recommend them more. If you need a mattress, I would not go anywhere else in Houston to get a mattress other than Texas mattress makers. They don't advertise here. They didn't ask me to say that. Texas mattress makers is the place I would go to get a mattress if I lived in Houston.
Mm-hmm. Facebook Marketplace. Just get a used bed on there.
Do the bed bugs come with that or no?
I mean, look. At this point, you're getting a mattress on Facebook Marketplace. You know what you're in for. But there we go. That's what we'll end it on, everyone. We got some words of wisdom for you. Have fun. Off day tomorrow. I don't know what are we gonna do on an off day?
I'm flying to Denver, so that'll be like a good bit of my off days flying. To Denver. But I'll maybe get into some fun when I land. I may get into some fun when I land. Who knows if I land early enough to explore Denver at night. And then we'll get to go watch a Rockies team that may have been bought on Facebook Marketplace. So who can say? But I'll be there to watch it, and we will talk about it next week on Crush City Territory. Thank you guys, as always, for all the support. Please rate and review us on Apple. Please rate and review us on Spotify. You can leave comments on the Spotify episodes if you want. I don't want to read those. You can subscribe on YouTube so you can get notified every time that we post a new video. You can follow Tyler on X at Tyler C. Stafford. You can follow me at Chandler_Rome, and we will talk to you guys later this week. Thanks for watching.
Bye.